I am going to speak about aerobic exercise for middle-aged and older adults. So, what do I mean by aerobic exercise? So, aerobic actually means with oxygen. And therefore, when we use the term aerobic fitness, or it's sometimes referred to as cardiorespiratory fitness or cardiovascular fitness, we're ultimately describing how well your body is able to take in oxygen and use it. So put that oxygen to good use. And by aerobic exercise then, it's any activity that involves large muscle groups in a dynamic movement for a prolonged period of time. So that can be anything over 3 minutes. So examples of that would be our walking, recreational cycling, swimming. Sorry, there's somebody trying to come in here now. Cycling, things like that, aqua aerobics, all those types of activities. Dancing would be another one as well. So, and also as well, a large part of your exercise classes with us are a huge part aerobic. So you're already doing aerobic exercise if you're doing our classes. But the big question is, how much aerobic exercise should you do for your health? So to describe this, we use the FIT principle, it's called. So what that stands for is frequency, which is 5 to 7 days per week. So all adults are recommended to do aerobic exercise on most days of the week. So irrespective of our age or fitness ability. So as much as possible, 5 to 7 days. In terms of intensity then, it's recommended to do moderate intensity. So what I mean by moderate intensity is you should be able to hold a conversation while you're exercising. So if we call this the talk test. So if myself and yourself were out walking and we were catching up on the week and we were chatting, we should be able to hold that conversation without one of us getting quite breathless. But if you're getting breathless or can't sustain that conversation, it means that the intensity is too high. And that intensity is going to be different for everybody. Okay, so main thing is, if you can't hold that conversation, it's too high. And you don't need to go over a moderate intensity to actually achieve the health benefits. So that's a really, really important point. So moderate intensity. In terms of time then, we should be doing a minimum of 30 minutes in each aerobic training session. So if, for example, you do that on 5 days of a week, so 5 minutes by 30 minutes is 150 minutes. And the guidelines from the American College of Sports Medicine are that you should complete, all adults over the age of 18 should complete 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise per week. So if you're doing that, you're achieving it. But there's a dose response with exercise and health benefits. So the more you do, the more health benefits you get. But obviously that graph curves up. At the top of the graph, you have overtraining, okay? But that's usually for a different population and not with us. So we recommend 5 to 7 days per week, moderate intensity, at least 30 minutes per session. But the big thing is, if you're new to exercise, it does not have to be continuous. So it can be accumulated bouts of 5 minutes, 10 minutes as you go on. So for example, if you did 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunchtime, 10 minutes in the evening, you have accumulated 30 minutes in that day. So don't be afraid to build it up, and you can progress that over the weeks then as well. And never ever be afraid to take the break from our exercise sessions and just stop for a minute. You will see the adaptions and your ability to finish that exercise session improve over the course of the program. So the last one then, the last T, is type. So again, it's any dynamic movement that uses large muscle groups for a prolonged period of time, so anything over 3 minutes. So why do we want you doing this? So in terms of physical health then, these are the benefits. So I'm going to start off with mentioning that cardiovascular fitness, cardiorespiratory fitness, or aerobic fitness, they're all synonymous. That is an independent predictor of health. So ultimately that means the fitter you are, the less likely you are to be at risk of clinical conditions such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and this association is independent of weight. So what that means is it doesn't matter if somebody's of normal weight, overweight, or obesity, fitness has a significant impact on your health. So I'm just going to list off some of the benefits here now. I'm going to talk through them, so don't worry about reading them all. But one of the main points is we usually get asked, what is the best types of exercise for weight loss? So what I want to highlight here is even low intensity. So the lower level, the moderate, actually, sorry, somebody's trying to come in again. Give me 1 second. Sorry. So even at low intensity, your body, aerobic training ultimately trains your body to use body fat for fuel. Okay, so it takes what you have as storage and it tries to use that during exercise, and over time that will facilitate fat loss. Aerobic exercise also has significant implications for blood pressure, blood glucose, and cholesterol levels. So it decreases blood glucose, decreases, or blood sugar, as we call it, decreases blood pressure, and also improves your cholesterol profile. So by your cholesterol profile, some of you may have heard of that. So we usually have our ones that we term our bad cholesterols. So our LDL cholesterol, we have total cholesterol, and also circulating triglycerides. And then what we have is our HDL cholesterol, which is often labeled our good cholesterol. So what aerobic training actually does is it decreases the 3 bad cholesterols and it increases the heart protective HDL cholesterol. So really, really important for your health. And what is really interesting and so good for your health is that many of the adaptations in terms of blood pressure and blood glucose are actually sustained after you stop exercising. So for example, there I have up blood pressure, it lasts for up to 24 hours post training, and that will have a significant impact on your health. So particularly for managing and improving blood pressure and blood sugar, thereby decreasing the risk of hypertension, which is high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes as well. So really, really good. So ultimately, these all help decrease the risk of chronic conditions, or they help manage chronic conditions if you have any. And aerobic training, the fact that it's oxygen and it's your heart and it's your blood, it actually decreases your heart rate at rest and during exercise. So what this means is the fitter you get, the less work your heart actually has to do. So that could be activities of daily living, that could be a structured exercise as well, but your heart is literally like working less, so less effort is needed. So really important for everybody, but very important for those with cardiovascular problems. But ultimately, it increases the functioning of your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and your brain. So really, really good for health. In terms of mental health, then, it has significant mental health benefits. So such as improved sleep, decreased anxiety, increased positive mood, clearer thinking, increased calmness, decreased stress. So it's decreasing all the stress hormones as well. And it increases self-esteem and decreases depression. So ultimately, if it has a positive effect on mental health, but particularly when we do this in a social environment. So if you have a buddy out walking with you, or if you go swimming with a friend, or you come to our classes with a friend, or you ring a friend afterwards, it all increases that social aspect of it that can improve mental health. And I just want to briefly mention green and blue exercise. So a lot of us are on the online program for prime time. So we know we're doing our exercise in our kitchen, our sitting room, our bedrooms, but there's actually exercise in green and blue spaces that have a significant impact on health. So you have green exercise, which is any exercise performed in a green space. So forests, gardens, parks. And then blue exercise is any exercise performed in or near water. So whether you're walking along a beach or kayaking or swimming, that is defined as blue exercise. And the research is starting to show that if we exercise in these spaces, the health benefits are actually magnified. So really, really try. I know the Irish winter is not great and it's coming, but try to get out in them green and blue spaces. So we did never like the word homework in school, but we've always liked to give a little activity at the end of every health education session. So for this week, I would really like you to write down how many minutes of aerobic exercise that you currently do every day of the week. So for 7 days, write down how much aerobic exercise that you do. And if you're doing our training sessions and you're doing 2 of them, you can count them as 2 30-minute aerobic training sessions. So just see, are you actually meeting the guidelines for health? So are you reaching that 150 to 300 minutes for your health? If you're not, please identify opportunities to increase your aerobic activity every week, okay? And try and make a plan. So to do this, I've provided some practical tips on the next slide. If you can even implement 2 of these in the next week, it will increase your aerobic activity during the week. So I've tried to make them as practical as possible. So if, for example, you are going to the office to work, or you're going to a place during the week where there's people, okay, the first one is, if you have a question for your colleague, go to their desk for a chat, okay? So please stand up, move, and go to their desk for a chat instead of sending them an email or an instant message or a quick voice note. Organize walk-in meetings if you can. So if you don't need a biro, you just need to talk it out. Try get out for a few minutes, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whichever. This is one for everybody. So whether at work, at home, or wherever, walk and talk is what we always recommend. So if you're organizing catching up with a friend and you're doing it on your mobile, or if you have headphones and you can walk around the house, try and organize that. So send them a little voice note or a message and say, I'll ring you in 20 minutes. I just need to get my runners on or my coat on, or even walking up and around the house while you're tidying about. Use the stairs whenever possible, if it's safe for you to do so. Plan ahead and buddy up. So if I'm not organized in the morning and I want to exercise, I know myself, it's very easy to not do it. So I will always try and leave my clothes, whether I'm going outside or inside, at the end of the bed, so I can't say no to doing a bit of physical activity. And if I'm doing it in the evening after work or after I've been somewhere all day, I'll leave a gear bag in the car, because Irish weather you cannot have control of. So you always need a spare change of clothes, or just even having your runners with you if you're leaving home at that point. So, and buddy up as well. So, you know, get your friend, if they're on this program, to go on a class with you and ring each other after and see how you get on, or meet up for a walk. Or if you have children or neighbors or friends, like, go for a walk with them in the evening instead of going around for a cup of tea, or bring your cup of tea even with you on the walk. Don't park in the closest spot to your destination. So wherever that may be, try and park further away, increase your steps. When you're watching TV, do an active chore during the ad break. So you can run and walk, even go to empty the washing machine, go upstairs, hang it out, something like that. So just be active during that 10 minutes. And if you're going shopping, walk down every aisle. So even if you just need bread, which is actually usually the furthest away in the shop, try and walk down a few of the aisles, and that will give you that increase in physical activity. Ultimately, this will all increase your aerobic exercise. So they're just some practical examples to give. And finally then, ask yourself, if you're not achieving the guidelines, can you achieve them? So can you achieve 30 minutes every day on at least 5 days per week? And if you're doing 5 days per week already, please try and reach 7. So the more you do, the better and the more health benefits you get. And that's the overall message. So move more, and your body and your mind will thank you.